Welcome to the Maine Real Estate Roundtable podcast. I'm Bobby Grenier, your trusted guide to navigating the world of real estate in Maine. Get ready to debunk mortgage myths, unravel real estate mysteries, and learn tips to avoid costly mistakes. Whether you're an industry pro, an overwhelmed buyer, confused seller, or simply curious about life in Maine, this is the podcast for you. Hey, welcome to the Maine Real Estate Roundtable podcast. I'm your host, Bobby, and this is a podcast where we talk about all things Maine real estate. I took a little break from the podcast over the holidays so that I could enjoy the holidays with my family and friends, but I am psyched to be back, looking forward to continuing the podcast into 2025. I do want to thank everybody tuning in. It was really cool. I was out and about at a lot of events with realtors and other real estate professionals, and I had a lot of people that told me that they are listening to the podcast, that they enjoy the podcast, and really encouraged me. And I just want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, that really means the world to me because I put a lot of time and effort into the podcast, and to know that it's helping and that people appreciate it is just awesome. So thank you for everybody that took the time to mention that to me. And I am ready to keep the podcast going and hopefully give you some awesome content that's going to be beneficial to real estate agents, lenders, real estate professionals, buyers, sellers, anybody that really has an interest in the Maine real estate scene. Today, we're diving into a topic that might seem a bit dry, but it's absolutely essential if you're involved in real estate transactions here in Maine. The different types of deeds and what they mean. Specifically, we'll talk about warranty deeds, quitclaim deeds with covenants, quitclaim deeds without covenants, and transfer on death deeds. Before we go any further, I want to remind you that I am not an attorney. You should always consult a licensed attorney for legal advice. My goal is for you to walk away from this podcast with a basic understanding of the types of deeds and how they are used in a real estate transaction. So grab a cup of coffee, find that comfy spot, and let's get started. First up, let's start with a warranty deed, the gold standard in most real estate transactions. A warranty deed is essentially a promise. When a seller conveys property with a warranty deed, they're guaranteeing that the title is free and clear of any defects or claims, both during their period of ownership and from previous owners. If an issue arises, the seller is legally obligated to fix it or compensate the buyer for any losses. It is important to note that warranty deed has its limitations. While it provides strong assurances, it does not protect against issues that are not part of the title, such as zoning violations or maybe physical defects in the property. In the event of a title dispute, the grantee of a warranty deed would need to take legal action against the grantor if the grantor does not willingly defend the title. This means that enforcing the protections of a warranty deed can sometimes involve time-consuming and costly litigation. I want to take this moment to remind all of my real estate agent friends that when they are advising their clients, and I hear this time and time again, it's bad advice to tell them that a warranty deed is a replacement for owner's title insurance. That's bad advice, and it's not true. And I encourage you to go back and listen to episode 19, and that really gives the basics of owner's title insurance, what it covers, what it is, what it isn't, some misconceptions. So really educate yourself so that you can advise your clients in this area and give them the most protection that's available to them. And a warranty deed is great, and it often can give some coverages through title insurance that they might not otherwise get. But a warranty deed is not a replacement for owner's title insurance. In Maine, warranty deeds are most commonly used in residential transactions where the buyer wants maximum protection. For example, if a long-lost heir shows up claiming ownership, the seller or their title insurance would step in to resolve the issue. This, again, is why title insurance often accompanies a warranty deed. The seller provides assurance through the deed, and the insurance backs that up. Next, let's talk about the quitclaim deed with covenant. This is a step down from a warranty deed, but still offers some protection. When a seller conveys property with a quitclaim deed with covenant, they're promising that they haven't personally done anything to impair the title during their ownership. However, unlike a warranty deed, they're not making any guarantees about issues that may have existed before they owned the property. Now let's move on to a quitclaim deed without covenant. This is sometimes referred to as a bare bones deed. The seller isn't making any promises about title at all. They're simply transferring whatever interest they may have in the property, if any. This means the buyer takes all the risks. If you're considering purchasing a property with a quitclaim deed with or without covenant, a title search is an absolute must, and getting title insurance, if possible, is even more critical. Okay, finally, let's discuss the transfer on death deed, which is a newer concept in Maine. So this type of deed allows property to pass directly to a named beneficiary upon the owner's death without going through probate. It's a great tool for estate planning because it simplifies the process and avoids additional costs and delays. The key thing to know about a transfer on death deed is that the owner retains full control of the property while they're alive. They can sell it, they can mortgage it, or even revoke the deed entirely. You should be cautioned if you plan to refinance or sell the property. The transfer on death deed will need to be revoked prior to giving a deed or mortgage to the property. The transfer only happens after death. Maine law requires specific formalities for these deeds to be valid, so if you're considering one, please consult an attorney to make sure it's done right. And remember, title insurance may still play a role, especially for the beneficiary. So there you have it, a breakdown of the warranty deed, the quitclaim deed with covenant, the quitclaim deed without covenant, and the transfer on death deed. Each serves a unique purpose, and understanding the difference can save a lot of headaches down the road. Before we finish up, I want to give a takeaway. Usually the rule of thumb when you're trying to help your seller decide how they want to convey their property is to look how they received it. So if the seller received the property by way of a warranty deed, then they convey it out with a warranty deed, or same with a quitclaim deed with or without covenant. But that rule of thumb does not always work, because if the seller received the property from a trust or an estate, they cannot convey the property out with a trustee's deed or a deed of sale by personal representative. So you really need to have that conversation about how the property is conveyed out. The buyer may have specific requests, and that's something that you have to talk about and negotiate. But remember that title insurance is vital no matter how you get the deed, a warranty deed, quitclaim deed with or without covenant. It's important that you really encourage your buyers to look at the benefits of title insurance, and even though they get a warranty deed, to have that backed up with title insurance coverage. I hope this clarified and gave you a little more information on how deeds work in Maine. And always ask questions. Ask questions of your title company. Again, consult an attorney or encourage your sellers, buyers to consult an attorney if they want to get more information or information on their specific circumstance. I appreciate you tuning in. Cheers to 2025. Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep it real. This has been the Maine Real Estate Roundtable podcast with Bobby Grenier. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion and will share this episode with a friend. And don't forget to leave a review and follow the podcast so you don't miss new episodes. The content of this podcast is for informational purposes and not intended as legal advice or representation by myself or any of the guests on the podcast. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep it real.